So we're back on track, and as you can see, the cars are already on track for the latest group race of our Vintage Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, live from the Mid-Ohio Sports Course. It's part of the Speed Tour, Tony Perella's organization, SVRA.
Jonathan, I just spoke to Tony Perella, just got off the phone with him. He loves your announcing. He loved the show.
I love this series.
He was watching the broadcast, and you know, being a Trans Am fan, Tony is such a Trans Am fan. He loved watching the race. And, he's so happy that the guys finished. Some of our vintage racers did really well.
That was top draw. I mean, you know, I just had the Lick Me Molly sponsors on the phone saying thanks for pronouncing us correctly, and what a great race. You know, I mean, you know. You can't help but please the sponsors when, you know, when you put on such a great show. And Lick Me Molly, a big part of our Trans Am coverage, and they've got big sponsorship here, and great to have them on board as they are around the world. Lick Me Molly in every part of motorsport, whether it be 2 wheels, 4 wheels, the synthetic motor oil that is from Germany and now available to you all over the United States. There you go, Mr. Crosby, that was for you.
So this is Group 8, a really fun, I would call them medium bore production cars. We also have a Group 5 Lotus 23, which is crazy because it doesn't have the horsepower of some of these cars, but the handling and the brakes of the 23 in vintage cars is pretty much bar none to anything else. We've got Craig Chima up there in the front. Let me make sure I'm getting all the right information in his Lotus 7, and David Huber in the Datsun 280ZX.
Answer me this. You've got 3 groups out there. Why do they need to be, if you like,
well, you'll see right there in what I would call 4th place is that Lexus. So that's kind of a newer, just recently obsoleted from different race groups. But we want to open up SVRA to all race groups. You know, we'll find a group for you. So he's pretty matched with these lap times in that Lexus. So he's in that group. It's called 12B. That Lotus right there behind the Lotus 7, 23, is in our Group 5. So there's different cars, but they all have about the same lap time. So we give them good track time and good competition.
Here we go then. As SVRA springs into action again. And the Datsun on the left against the little Lotus 7 on the right. And they are side by side as they dive through the first turn. It really is a combination of very, very different cars, but an absolute spectacle as the Datsun takes the lead.
Yeah, that's David Huber right there. He's raced with us quite a long time. He also races with the International GT sometimes. But look at that. That Lexus isn't a huge car, but against that Lotus 23, it looks like
massive,
a boat.
doesn't it?
Yeah. And then we saw Sharon Edelman in that beautiful blue Ginetta. What a great car that is.
So SVR Racing, coast to coast here in 2020.
That's a Bob Sharp tribute. Datsun 240, I think it is, ZX right there. What a great car about to come into turn 4.
Yeah, we got the lone Lexus IS 300. Ron Pauly in the wheel.
The Lotus Europa. When's the last time you saw a Lotus Europa, let alone on a racetrack?
Well, that's a very good question. I don't know. Maybe never. And we got a little Ginetta G4R, Simon Adelman. Down in 13th place, we'll be looking out for that. And there's the odd 240Z Datsun. My mum had one of those too. My mum's got all the cars. Where did I go wrong? I did actually inherit that from her as well.
Well, now expect Craig Chima in that really light and nimble Lotus 7 start to catch up to that Datsun 280Z. That's a little bit heavier car. And once Craig's tires come to him, at a track as intricate as this, he should have the advantage over that 280. But that Lotus 23, he's having a good weekend. He tried to find me in the paddock, and we had to find him some brake fluid. He's having some brake problems, but we were able to find him some brake fluid in the paddock, and he's back out there. And then there's that beautiful Lexus. He was just with us last weekend, Ron Pauly at Road America, and here he is with us at Mid-Ohio.
A little bit of something coming out of the left-hand side, though, of Pauly's car.
Yeah, Norm Murdoch right there. And that Ford Capri just got passed by David Bauman in the Toyota World Sports Racer going into the keyhole. But look at this great group of cars out here racing at Mid-Ohio.
There used to be a show in England called The Professionals, and they drove a Ford Capri, and I used to think that was the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, well, they're awesome. But look at that, Craig Chima just takes the lead over the Datsun.
Whoa, did you see how?
Look at that body roll.
Yeah, you got a lot of body roll there.
You can't get more diverse than that, those two cars right there. But that's what makes vintage racing so much fun. The cars don't look the same.
Exactly.
Great shots from our drone right there. And Mid-Ohio truly is that pretty. It really is that green.
Yeah, we've been saying it all weekend. It really has turned out to be a real festival. If you look in the background, all the cars sort of pointed around the circuit, keeping the shade from the woods. But it's deceptive just how many people are here this weekend. A lot of cars in the car park and a great showing. And I'm pleased for Tony. You just mentioned Tony Perella. I'm pleased for him because, you know, we could have had this race with no fans at all, but they wanted to see these cars. These guys want to put on a show. And so it all works, and really pleased that it's worked out well, both weather-wise and race-wise.
And look at that, you don't see that often. That's Robert Baxter in his Bobsy SR7 racing Michael Levesque in his Corvair right there. Michael Levesque is at Corvair. He runs this company called Levair. They are the racing Corvair. He's made a business out of building racing Corvairs. Talk about a niche of a niche of a niche.
I know.
He does really well. He was in Anderson, Indiana, now in Lewisburg, Tennessee. He's a neighbor of mine. And I've seen that guy 30 minutes before grid with his whole engine out, basically in his lap, and still make it to grid. And he always puts on a good show in these Corvairs.
We got a good quick glimpse there of the Mazda RX-7 of John Putman II in 10th place at the moment, just ahead of the Alfa Romeo GTV. There is the Corvair again. And very different engine notes as well.
And look at that John Wiley, the number 33, the Datsun 280Z. It looks like Paul Newman's car from the Trans Am days. That's a tribute car, and it's just so pretty. And like we keep saying, group after group, these drivers put so much effort and time into these cars and into their racecraft. They really want them to look good, feel good, and they are just as adamant about making this as much of a time machine as possible as we are.
I saw a great picture of Paul Newman the other day looking at the back end of Mario Andretti's car, and Mario put in the inscription. I noticed when I came to race on Sunday morning, we had a new sponsor by the name of Paul Newman, so I knew I better be quick. And there's a lovely shot of just Paul Newman, who is usually the man that everybody's gawking at, is gawking quite literally at both the car and Mario Andretti. So there you go, that was Paul Newman's experience. But a dashed good peddler himself, I may add. 4 SCCA titles, national titles for Paul Newman in his time.
One of my favorite cars, that blue Jannetta right there of Sharon Edelman. We saw her husband Graham Edelman racing out there in the Sports 2000. She's followed by the Alfa Romeo, then the Datsun, and then that Lotus Europa. How cool is that Lotus Europa out there? That is, I'm trying to find the information, that is Thomas Upshur in the orange Lotus Europa making a pass right there on Dave Vincent. Couldn't have happened at a better time. That's a rear engine Lotus. Almost looks like a pickup truck.
Well, that's a bit harsh. Oh, there you go. All right. I don't know. I've never heard of a Lotus described as a truck. But I see what you're saying.
That's Chris Rader right there in the red and silver Alfa Romeo GTV.
Yep.
Currently 12th. And look at this battle.
That's a funky looking thing, isn't it?
It is. And I've known Lotus Europas to sometimes have like a Ford engine. I've known them to have a Renault engine. I don't know what he has in the power plant, but they're really fun to watch.
You know, you talk about, as we were a moment ago, the Triumphs. Well, you could have just as busy a race with Lotus in their history. Fantastic history and fantastic cars developed over the years.
There's Ron Pauly in that 12 Lexus, followed by a Toyota. So look at some Toyota that way.
Yep, Craig Chima leading the way though in the Lotus 7 at the moment, ahead of David Uber and Jim, the winner. There's the Capri. I like that. I like the colors. I like the look. I like it.
what's not to like? Look at that. It looks like a British muscle car. It's basically what it was.
Yeah, you know, British roads are too small, so that's our version of the Ford muscle car.
Yeah, and you would think that's funny that you're saying, why is that a British muscle car if it's a Ford? That was basically Ford Europe's muscle car.
Yes, it was, yeah. Oh, the Capri, everybody had a Capri. I mean, you know, they were two a penny when I was growing up. But they were the boy racers. They were the Honda Civics of their time, if you will. That was what all the 18-year-old, 19-year-old aspires to as a road car. You know, if you were a wannabe racer, you had a Ford Capri.
But what cool lines on that car.
Yeah.
So again, if you're just joining into the broadcast, please download the SVRA or Trans Am app to see these live streams at upcoming events. Leave a comment on your Facebook or YouTube if you're watching this on social media. Tell us where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. But this is our Group 8, 12, and 5 race here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And right there's a great shot of the carousel.
Yeah, and go to SVRA or to Go Trans Am because you can get notifications. Social media, we're on Facebook, obviously, and Twitter. So we'll be letting you know when the races are coming up. We've got stories in between each of the races to keep the momentum going and keep the interest going. So plenty of history, plenty of information, and the website packed to the gills. JJ O'Malley, delighted to have him on board. Ex-IMSA and great sports car man.
Sharon Edelman under heat here.
She is. That's tiny, that car, isn't it?
It is, because if you know an Alfa Romeo GTV, that's a small car. But that car looked like a giant compared to that Ginetta. But those Ginettas are so light, they've got a little bit of power, but because they're so light and so well engineered, they make great race cars. She's coming under pressure now from the Europa.
Yeah, and he just slid round the Alfa Romeo. Into the keyhole they go.
She has the advantage here anytime they're turning. But then she can put the power down quick, but then the power runs out pretty quick in those Ginettas. That Europa and that Alfa should have a little bit more long-term power. But Sharon Edelman is a great driver. She drives a Turner with us, a Formula Junior. She knows how to drive cars with momentum.
And you know, it's interesting. The connection between the history of both SVRA and Trans Am. This time last year, the Ginetta won the GT4 championship, the latest Ginetta from the American, from Miami, Florida. And so, you know, the progression is here to see. And so we've got literally the story of all of these car makes. Ginetta from Leeds in the UK have been making fantastic cars for a long time now, and they continue to do so.
Just fantastic shots here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. I love that part of the course there. That's called Thunder Valley. I like how at Mid-Ohio, almost all the sections or sectors, if you will, of this circuit have nicknames. So now they're coming up to the carousel. Right there is Caesar Cone. Caesar Cone won the Gold Cup just a couple of years ago, racing with John Hasty and John Bockham in that beautiful Alfa Romeo. He is a legend and loves Mid-Ohio and VIR. He's been racing with SVRA for quite a long time. It's really cool to see Caesar Cone at an event.
Yeah, down in 14th position. And a good field again. We've got over 23 cars involved in this particular group race.
Oh, there he is. I think that's Rick Norris right there.
Chuck's brother?
No, battling Rob Mocha is in that number 88 Alfa Romeo. Rob Mocha, sorry. And Rob switches back and forth between Alfa Romeos with us. He's been in that one for quite a while. Trying to make a pass right now on Rick Norris in that Corvair. You don't see those two cars often racing.
No, you don't.
But Rob Mocha is always one of our best drivers. Really fun to watch. Supporter of vintage racing and SVRA and vintage racing across America, as is Rick Norris in that Corvair.
So did all the Corvairs have that air intake at the back?
Yeah, I think so. And if they don't leave them open like you're seeing like that when they're racing, they can get a lot of heat. But that air comes straight off, like if you wind tunneled them, comes straight off the windshield on the back windshield, straight down into the engine bay.
I can understand why they did it, because you know, when you have a rear engine like that and you've got it all bodied up, it's going to get hot very quickly. So you're watching action from our Group 5B8 and 12B feature race 2, one of the last races of our day. More racing going on here at Mid-Ohio, so the crowd have got plenty to enjoy. But I think SVRA and Trans Am have put on a good show.
The drone shots really give you a good look at which cars have the advantage where. Sharon is really good at getting the power on, but that Lotus Europa was out braking or into turn 11. So it's really fun to see each car has its own advantages and disadvantages on a track like Mid-Ohio. So that Europa should be able to out-drag her if he gets a good push off of that turn 1. But then she can hold the line. She should maybe be able to go into this and then keep.
Whoa!
Look at that. And you heard it squeal, but she should be able to pace through the keyhole. But I'd be surprised if the Europa doesn't get her into turn 4.
Well, they're running out of time to beat her because the laps of the time are dropping down bit by bit. And look how she pulls away in a straight line. Really impressive.
Yeah, she's definitely cutting a smaller hole in the air.
Down to turn 4. Probably a lap to go after this one.
There's our leader right there, Craig Chima.
Oh, this is the final lap. Craig Chima.
Look at that, was a smooth turn. He's a really good driver. And when you're driving a Lotus 7 like that around the keyhole, it's all about one corner, one turn.
Yeah, you don't want to be overcompensating all the time. You want a long, nice arc. And you'll want to do the same again into turn 4 here. And it's only 1.7 seconds between the pair of them. David Hoover's still there and in shot. And if he's in shot, he's in with a chance. He's going to follow him home for sure. It's the 280ZX against the Lotus 7. And from above, they look completely different, don't they? Tiny, tiny Lotus up against the mighty Datsun, which of course is now Nissan, if you're wondering. Datsun was the forerunner.
Rob Mokas giving him his room like he should be. To take the checkered flag coming around the carousel.
Yeah, got to be careful not to trip up on the last stage. But here he comes towards the checkered flag to round out the day for our SVRA coverage. And a wonderful day for Greg Chima. In fact, he had a good day yesterday too. So well done to him.
Yeah, Jonathan, this weekend has been so much fun. Thank you so much to our competitors, our sponsors. We're so happy to be back to racing here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course during just a crazy time in our nation and the world's history. But we're so excited to be here. Thank you so much to the spectators, the state of Ohio, Tony Perella and John Claggett and the Speed Tour for putting this on. And it's been a lot of fun. I can't wait for the next one. It's been a lot of fun being in the same room with you, Jonathan.
Yeah, finally. We only say that because we've been doing the E-Championship literally over the internet without having eye contact, so to speak. But it is nice to actually be in a booth together. Social distancing, of course. Oh, the Corvair coming across the line and looking as though it's got some problems, but does make the checkered flag. But that concludes our coverage of the final race of SVRA Group 5, Group 8, and Group 12. I hope you've enjoyed it. The sun came out and gave us its blessing, and we are finally back to racing. Congratulations to SVRA and to Trans Am. My thanks to Ben Sissel. I'm Jonathan Green. Join us next time out when we do it all again, racing on the Speed Tour that is SVRA and Trans Am.